Bay till midnight on Thursdays and 1 a.m. Fridays and Saturdays. Full menu at burgerking.ky.
We were set to battle, and your Aunt Angie was leading the pack when...
Aunt Angie, what does this have to do with car damage?
Oh, right. Well, long story long. I took down the assassins and wound up inventing a new form of mixed martial arts. I became an international champion until one sore loser karate kicked my car. But I was covered with CG.
Covered for malicious damage and more. CG Brit-K. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
Radio Command time check 7:31. We got 3 cruise ships coming into port. Hey, make sure to grab a card and win. It's the 30K Jolly Grocery giveaway at Foster's. This Christmas, they're spreading some holly jolly cheer by filling one lucky shopper's cart with 10 grand worth of groceries. Just purchase any 2 specially marked products to enter. Learn more at fosters.ky/jolly.
The Butcher Shop at Rankin's Farm is ready to stock your kitchen this holiday season with delicious fresh local meats, beef, pork, and goat available now and cut to order. And they have you covered with fresh produce, hot and seasoned peppers, tomatoes, and scallions straight from Rankin's Farm. The Butcher Shop at Rankin's Farm is located at 3032 Shamrock Road by Rankin's Jerk. Open Monday to Saturday, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 929-4584. Make it a happy holiday season with the Butcher Shop at Rankin's Farm. For the record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury, and JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Kirk Market. Experience a world of choice.
We ask our listeners and viewers to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
Live from Radio Cayman Studios.
This is For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you.
For the Record.
Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
With Orrett Connor.
Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is For the Record.
For the Record. 1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees. Today is Monday, the 16th day of December 2024, right in the beautiful Cayman Islands, 9 days before Christmas Day. We hope and we trust everyone has a restful, enjoyable weekend. Those who are busy in some places, wet roads, we urge you to please be extremely cautious, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle. Common sense, even though some people say days, but if you do all of those things and more, then the life you save may just be your own. We understand that traffic, there's congestion again this morning as a result of an accident somewhere in the vicinity of the Red Bay roundabout. So all of you drivers out there, road users, please be patient, exercise patience. Don't be cutting off other drivers. If you see that you're just bumper to bumper and really not going anywhere and someone needs to be let in, just do so. Just do so. One car length is not going to make a whole lot of difference in terms of how quickly you get to your destination as well. Again, so please be courteous out there. It'll make you feel much better if you just relax and take everything in stride as well. So, folks, those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday, or if you've celebrated one over the past few days, a belated happy birthday. And to remind you that For the Record birthday shout-outs brought to you by Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shout-outs. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. You should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Those of you who have lost loved ones, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility here in the Cayman Islands or overseas, we do wish you a speedy recovery. And again this morning, we want to give a big shout out to our friend and colleague here at Radio Cayman, DJ Lynn, and again to remind him that he remains in our prayers, in our thoughts and in our prayers, and we wish him a speedy recovery as well. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy, dangerous, and wet roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 until 10 a.m. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037, 949-6990, WhatsApp number 925-3261. And of course, in our studio, none other than, the voice of Silver Fox, Mr. Paul Akal, waiting to take your calls as well. We do have a caller. We will be going to that caller in a few seconds. First of all, we want to look at the birthdays. Yesterday, Donovan Chambers and Felix Manzanares celebrated their birthdays. Looking for any for today, and my good friend and colleague, former colleague at the Immigration Department, also at the Elections Office, schoolmate as well, Miss Karen Nixon, celebrating her birthday tomorrow. So we want to give Miss Karen Nixon a big happy birthday in advance of her birthday tomorrow. And to remind you again that For the Record birthday shoutouts brought to you by Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shoutouts. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. You should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, dear OC. How are you today?
Hey, good morning. How art thou?
I'm good. I don't want to be too controversial because of the northeaster wind that's been blowing and giving us the Christmas feeling. So I don't want to be too controversial. It's Christmas feeling.
Yep.
Yeah. First, I would like to also say happy birthday to Karen there. As you know, she have East End roots too.
Yes.
And that'll take me back to saying that it seems to me that all the people who have excelled in the Georgetown area actually had one parent or one grandparent coming from the East End area.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think you somewhere there too, or is that the way it is? Because my mother was a Connor too, you know.
Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah, there's a connection. Yep.
My father was Albert Connor, who lived in New York for a long time.
Yep.
So whenever people ask me now, why is it that you gives me so much time on the radio? Now they know. Now they know.
Nepotism, huh?
Yeah.
Or nepotism. Some people say.
Yeah. Okay, I would also like to say congratulations to our Jordan.
Yes.
The best swimmer amongst how many billion people in the world?
I have to check that.
Whatever amount of billions they are, he's the best. He's the best. Because if there were anybody else better, then tell them to come forward. We're waiting for them too. You know. But it seems a little on the quiet side to me. You know what I mean? If that was the Bahamas or any of those other places, man, they would be up in arms and holidays and motorcades and people not going to work and calling in, tell their boss they're not coming to work, find an excuse, use that for an excuse, they don't go work and the likes.
Yep.
So I hope that there's something in the making to celebrate this historic achievement that have displayed,
Yeah. Well, hopefully they can incorporate something into National Heroes Day, for this special
that would
occurrence
be,
as well.
That's right around the corner. So
right.
That would be nice. We could have an additional segment just for him.
To honor him, yes. Oh, and by the way, as of 2023, the world's population was estimated to be 8.025 billion. That was in as of 2023, 8.025 billion.
And we have what's our population?
Well, if we're in the 80s, I would have to get one of my listeners who mathematically inclined. Well, if I Google it, you can find it. As well to see what percentage of the world's population we fall.
Small population amongst those billions have produced the fastest swimmer, not in these times, but in history. In history.
That's a world record.
So that is amazing, Ozzy. That is amazing. I don't know how other people think about it, but to me,
it is a hell of an accomplishment.
Amazing.
Yes.
Serious accomplishment.
Okay.
But the only little controversial thing, Ozzy, that I want to speak about is, Ozzy, all the 10-story buildings that are being built now as on the 7 Mile Beach. I don't know economists, but also I don't know what the trickle down benefit that is to our native people. You know what I mean? And then a lot of them will come and ask for these concessions and the likes. We no longer clean the rooms, apparently. We no longer manage them. They manage them online now overseas, and I think that just so they can cook the books, because the Caymanians, one time I think it was only Caymanians could manage those places. And, they would make the government know exactly when the rooms are being booked and all that kind of thing. So I think that's part of the strategy, too, to evade whatever taxes they need to pay, room taxes or whatever, whenever the place are occupied, So that might be one of the things. And also, you notice that all the establishments on the West Bay Road back in the day had entertainment center in them. Everyone had from what's it called, straight down to Royal Palms. Then we get to even little small Royal Coral Cayman had entertainment in there. I remember going there, with them playing there, and we had their Holiday Inn, regular 10 sales. Then we had the Galleon Beach, and they have always all reestablished themselves, and they put no entertainment in there. OC, where we all visit those places frequently on weekends. That was where we hang out. So now all of those places now have no entertainment in them, like a little nightclub or something like that, especially for the tourists too that come down that want to pretend that they're dancing the calypso music, and stuff like that. So I thought that I don't like the flavor of the establishments now just being a Caribbean island and the way we used to be. It's being rapidly changed from our way of living, or just our whole culture, heritage, everything. You know,
Mhm,
so
mhm.
I don't appreciate those establishments being built. I think we should just put a moratorium on all them.
Yeah. Well, what we have never answered the question to, and this has been a rhetorical question that has been asked in many developing countries, for whom are we developing? I have never received or heard a clear answer to that question. For whom are we developing? Those who are pro-developers will say, well, everybody's getting a little bit piece, of the pie. Some may be getting the crumbs, some may be getting the empty container after the pie has been devoured.
That's the position we in.
Yep. Anyway, Lord Graham, we're going to go to a commercial break. Just for the record, I generously put in 85,000 people in the Cayman Islands, and what percentage of 8.025 billion, and that is 0.00195919003%.
Well, we got plenty zeros in there. So
Yeah. That is.
We were Connor wasn't mobile almost.
That is so
in
small.
population.
That is so small that if you had to identify it, if it was a green of sand on the beach, you wouldn't be able to find it.
It's fine. Yeah.
Lord Graham, thanks a lot. Take care. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. For the record, we'll be back shortly. Just to let you know that we will have MP and former Minister of Finance, former Deputy Premier in the studio with us, Mr. Christopher Saunders. He will be in the studio with us after the 8 o'clock news. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Captain Rael Brazeley Bodden, Sr., MBE, JP, was born in 1885 and died at age 91 in 1976. He was best known as a shipwright who used his marine architectural skills to construct prominent historical landmarks on Grand Cayman. In so doing, Mr. Bodden carried on the tradition of his father and grandfather. In 1971, Captain Rael was recognized of his development contributions by being asked to lay the cornerstone for the Legislative Assembly building. Captain Rael built many ships, including the well-known Simboko, the Lady Slater, launched in 1934 as sister ship of the Simboko, old-time schooners, and 2 minesweepers for the Royal British Navy. The Simboko was constructed in 1927 and was the first locally built motorized ship in Cayman. For 20 years, she was Cayman's connection to the world, carrying freight, passengers, and mail between Grand Cayman and the sister islands, Jamaica and the United States. Captain Rael held the office of Ad Measure of Shipping for over 45 years. He was appointed a Justice of the Peace in 1928 and served in the Assembly of Justices and Vestry. Captain Rael was married to Miss Hetty, nee Bodden, for 63 years. Together, they raised 5 children and were the proud grandparents of 22 grandchildren, many great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren. He received his MBE in 1941, Her Majesty the Queen's Badge in 1954. In 2008, the Central Planning Authority celebrated the contributions of Captain Rael Bodden for his outstanding contributions to planning.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way, positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
She hear clunk and her car stop. I was just about to send her some money, so I send it straight to her JN money transfer card. It cost me less, and perhaps she use the card, pay the garage right away. She'll get discount through the JN Rewards program in Jamaica. This card make things easy. You can even get funds at any multi-link ATM.
JN Money Transfer Card. Fast, affordable, convenient. Tell your loved ones in Jamaica about it. Sign up is free.
Kirk Market's 12 Days of Gift Cards is back. Each day, 12 lucky customers will win a $100 Kirk Market gift card just for shopping at Kirk Market. Ho, ho, ho! You heard that right. Every day for 12 days with 12 lucky winners each day. Come in December 11th through the 24th and shop. You could win. And there's no minimum required. It's that easy. It's Kirk Market's 12 Days of Gift Cards. December 11th through the 24th. The countdown to Christmas is on at Kirk Market.
Ho, ho, ho. Pure Art Gallery and Gifts is your perfect Cayman destination for Christmas shopping. Fun gift ideas for all ages. Pure Art features gorgeous local jewelry, household items, paintings, prints, Christmas tree ornaments, and more. Sure to delight without spending a fortune? Visit Pure Art Gallery and Gifts on South Church Street, a mile south of Georgetown. Open late December 16th through the 24th until 7 p.m. for your Christmas shopping. Pure Art Gallery and Gifts is open late from December 16th through the 24th.
Reflections annual countdown to Christmas sale is on now. Ladies, save 50 to 75% off selected fashion clothing, selected Adidas, Puma, and Nike sneakers discounted from 25 to 50% off. Make your gift giving super easy this year by getting Reflections gift certificates for everyone on your list. Converse kicks starting at $25 and bargains galore throughout the store. Guys, cargo pants, big and tall, $5.50. Levi's and selected Docker pants, 25% off. Every purchase above $49 at Reflections gives you the opportunity to win 2 free tickets to any Cayman Airways destination of your choice. Open Monday to Thursday, 9 a.m. till 8 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. Shop Reflections on Shen Road beside the Mango Tree.
See yourself in Reflections.
Reflections, always driving down prices.
Social media, X, formerly Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Interact with our talk shows on YouTube. Download our official Radio Cayman app, or you can log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky. You can also add us to WhatsApp
on 925-3261.
All the latest information, breaking news, community events, and more. Radio Cayman. This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. About 6 minutes before we go to our 8 o'clock news. Other birthdays today, we want to give a big happy birthday shout out to Miss Joan Barnes, who's celebrating her birthday today as well. And we also see that Kiara James celebrating a birthday today, the 16th. Greetings coming from Grandma, Miss Ruth James, Dad Dwayne James, Mom Latoya James, and her sister Kanaya James. Also from aunties, uncles, and cousins as well. And Miss Ruth James would also like to send birthday greetings to Miss Vernice. Miss Vernice Miles, as well as Miss Mary Miles. Then yesterday, Miss Mary Whitaker, Miss Rosa Pars, living in Tampa, Florida as well. So all of those birthday greetings going out. Miss Vernice Miles, Miss Mary Miles, Miss Mary Whitaker, Miss Rosa Parks in Tampa, Florida. And then we have Miss Joan Barnes, celebrating her birthday today as well, and Kiara James also celebrating a birthday. So we want to give big birthday shout out to all of them. If you know someone who's celebrating a birthday or a very special event, please let us know here at Radio Cayman. We will give you a birthday shout out, of course, proudly brought to you by Coca-Cola, who are proud to support your birthday shout outs. Coca-Cola available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga wholesalers. We should accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Those of you who live in Bordentown East and beyond, and it's not just restricted to you, but all of the road users in that area as well. I have been reliably informed that the National Roads Authority, that they should start paving tomorrow paving the area east of Everglow Bar. Some of you may know it as the old drive-in theater, and they will be moving towards Chester's and the Bordentown Police Station later on. Part of that area needs to be lifted, and that will be a bonanza to road users, but in particular cyclists as well, because that area is pretty bumpy. Now, it also appears as if someone has really been listening, because the information that I have received tells me that the area is to be raised, and I had been pointing out that area there was swamp, probably at some point in time was beach area, as well, because we know how close to the sea that is. Some centuries ago or decades ago, it may have been beach as well. So they are now looking towards raising that area, because we know that when we get lots of rain, that area is prone to flooding as well. So that is good to know, and I've gotten it from reliable. When I say reliable, I mean really reliable, sources, that is going to take place. What else did they tell me about that as well? I have been also told that the Bordentown paving is scheduled for Tuesday and Wednesday. That is the 17th and 18th. That is scheduled to be paved. There's also other paving going on, and maybe I can find this before we go to the news as well. Yes, here we go. Has to do with paving. National Roads Authority wishes to notify the public of scheduled paving works taking place along West Bay Police Station intersection. Important improvements will be taking place across both lanes and the intersection between the hours of 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. on today, December the 16th. The National Roads Authority asks that commuters take caution in that area, and as it becomes an active work zone, motorists are reminded to stay alert, abide by the speed limit, and follow work zone signage, and when temporary diversions are made. Yes, follow those work zone signage. When you see those cones, you may not find an individual directing traffic there, but from the time you are driving and you see those cones on the road where they diverting you to one lane or whatever, that is the time for you to slow down, and you should proceed slowly and carefully until you have exited the work zone as well. We know some of you out there really don't know the rules of the road. Some of you out there really don't care about the rules of the road. And that is why we are urging the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service to do whatever they can to catch you. They call them, in some jurisdictions, they call them scoff laws. They scoff at the laws. They make up faces, at the law. That's a sort of expression that is used, scoff laws, and we applaud the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service for doing whatever they can to catch those scoff laws as well. Folks, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. When we return, hopefully, MP Chris Saunders will be in the studio if he hasn't been delayed by the traffic backup as a result of the vehicular accident earlier this morning. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Carter. Radio Cayman time check now, 8:01. This time check brought to you by our friends at Foster's.
Grab a cart and win. It's the 30K Jolly Grocery Giveaway at Foster's. This Christmas, we're spreading some holly jolly cheer by filling one lucky shopper's cart with $10,000 worth of groceries. Just purchase any 2 specially marked products from now until December 24th for a chance to win your share of $30,000 worth of groceries. Go to fosters.ky/jolly for more info. Thanks to Febreze, Charmin, Tide, Pampers, Badia Spices, and Waitrose. Have a holly jolly Christmas at Foster's.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm April Cummings. Legislation to help better combat drug smuggling gets debated in the House.
The bill will enhance the legislative framework for combating illicit trafficking activities conducted by air and by sea and ensure that the Cayman Islands have the necessary domestic legislation in place, Mr. Speaker, to deal with those things.
Tabling the misuse of drugs bill in Parliament Wednesday, Attorney General the Honourable Samuel Bulgen said the bill enhances the legislative framework for combating illicit trafficking and provides enforcement powers in relation to aircraft suspected of being involved in those activities. Under the amendment, the Coast Guard would act as enforcement officers.
The cooperation probably will be underpinned by an arrangement that is being worked out between the UK and other Caribbean countries, including overseas territories, called San Jose Accord, or Aruba Agreement. If it ever comes to fruition, Mr. Speaker, that treaty would help to facilitate the cooperation between countries in the Caribbean region as it relates to interdiction of narco-trafficking.
The bill was tabled Wednesday. The Cayman Islands Bankers Association and Royal Cayman Islands Police Service released a joint statement alerting the public about persistent fraud attacks. Radio Cayman's Felicia Rankin-Solins has the details.
Over recent weeks, numerous reports have been received regarding fraudulent smishing, SMS messages that appear to be from local banks. These messages falsely claim that a recipient's account has been placed on hold pending verification and directs them to a link to prevent account closure. The link then prompts recipients to enter their online banking credentials. Unfortunately, several residents have fallen victim to this scam. In order to protect yourself, it is essential to remember no Cayman Islands retail bank will ever ask for your PIN, online banking credentials, username and password, or any sensitive personal details via text, email, or phone. Fraudsters often use fear tactics to pressure victims into acting quickly. The Cayman Islands Bankers Association believe fraudsters are utilizing local money mules to assist them in receiving and forwarding fraudulent funds via electronic transfers. A money mule is someone who knowingly or unknowingly moves money acquired illegally on behalf of another person. Providing such assistance is a crime. Money mules can face prosecution regardless of their awareness or intent. As part of the ongoing investigation, the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service have arrested 3 individuals on suspicion of money laundering offenses. The RCIPS urged the public to trust your instincts. If something feels off or too good to be true, it likely is. Stop communicating with fraudsters once you suspect a scam, and report fraud immediately to your bank if you believe you may have fallen victim to a scam. Prompt reporting can help mitigate potential losses. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
To the courts now, where a man learns his fate for overstaying the jurisdiction. Radio Cayman's Jevy Ebanks has more.
Evian George Campbell appeared in summary court on the 4th of December, facing a charge of overstaying in the Cayman Islands by 20 months. Chief Magistrate Angelin Hernandez sentenced him to 4 months in prison and ordered his deportation afterward. Campbell's lawyer, attorney Leanie Doherty, explained that Campbell, who's 25, had applied for a temporary work permit, which was deferred, leading him to seeking extensions. His stay was further prolonged due to his father's accident. Doherty highlighted that Campbell, a car washer with no previous convictions, pled guilty early. The chief magistrate noted the usual penalty is up to $20,000 and 5 years imprisonment, emphasizing that Campbell's overstaying seemed deliberate and that he must comply with immigration laws. Consequently, Campbell received a 4 months prison sentence with time in custody considered and a deportation recommendation. Chevy Ebanks, Radio Cayman News.
That's your local news at this hour. I'm April Cummings. Now to the BBC for stories making headlines around the world.
BBC News with Govinda Gill. Tens of thousands of people have gathered in Damascus and cities across Syria to celebrate the overthrow of President Assad. Loudspeakers playing revolutionary songs have been set up in the Umayyad Square in the capital. The US Secretary of State Antony Blinken has met his Turkish counterpart in Ankara for talks on Syria, where their countries have backed rival militant groups. Mr. Blinken said there was broad agreement on what Turkey and the US would like to see in Syria. Myanmar's military government has lost control of the entire border with Bangladesh. Ethnic insurgents overran the military's last stronghold in Rakhine State. Hundreds of soldiers surrendered. Russia has launched another huge bombardment targeting Ukraine's energy infrastructure. The Ukrainian authorities say it's the 12th large-scale attack this year. President Zelensky said more than 90 missiles and nearly 200 drones were used. President Emmanuel Macron of France is expected to announce a new prime minister shortly, more than a week after the collapse of the government. He'd initially said he would make the announcement on Thursday. A court in the Netherlands has rejected a request to ban weapons exports to Israel. The district court in The Hague said it was up to the government to make such decisions on a case-by-case basis. The lawsuit was brought by pro-Palestinian NGOs.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Now, more than ever, supporting your immune system is crucial to helping your body fight off illnesses like the common cold, the flu, and COVID-19. At ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road and in Buttontown, we carry all the essential vitamins and minerals to help support your immune system and improve your overall health. Some of our top immunity support picks are vitamin C, vitamin D, zinc, elderberry, and quercetin, or the popular 7-in-1 immunity support. Our pharmacists are always on hand to help guide you and answer any questions. Visit ValueMed Pharmacy on Walkers Road or Buttontown. Live happy, live healthy with ValueMed Pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman with the latest up-to-date, accurate news and information. For your convenience, the headline news will be repeated on our sister station, Breeze 105.3 FM, weekdays at 8:30 a.m. Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or download the Radio Cayman app in the App Store or log on to www.radiocayman.gov.ky and stay connected to what's happening in the community. Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way, positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Healthcare Pharmacy, caring about your health for the past 25 years. Radio Cayman's premier health show.
Alzheimer's and dementia, are they the same disorder?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
For the Health of It with Tara Bush.
Is heard on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. and on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Brought to you by Healthcare Pharmacy in Grand Harbor, where they care about your health. Transfer and refill your prescription online. Visit healthcarepharmacy.ky or call 947-8900. Healthcare Pharmacy, now with a second location in Governor's Square. Healthcare Pharmacy, where they care about your health.
The 8 a.m. weather update, brought to you by CG Britcade, where people come first.
Once again, good morning, my friends. Let's take a look at your latest weather. Nice and sunny on the outside, with some partial cloud cover with some partial showers. Present temperature is 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Winds are out of the northeast at 16 miles per hour. Relative humidity 86%. The barometric pressure is at 29.91 inches and dropping. Remnant moisture over the Western Caribbean, coupled with a gradual decrease in winds, are likely to ignite some showers for the Cayman area today. A high-pressure system over the eastern United States will continue to bring a decrease in winds and seas throughout the afternoon as it moves over the western Atlantic Ocean, weakening the pressure gradient. Radar images show numerous showers around the Cayman Islands drifting towards the southwest. Our forecast for today calls for partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 40% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise to the mid-80s. Winds will be northeast at 15 to 20 knots, decreasing and becoming 10 to 15 knots by the afternoon. Seas will be moderate to rough with wave heights of 5 to 7 feet, decreasing and becoming 3 to 5 feet later this afternoon. The small craft advisory is likely to be discontinued from the afternoon. Later tonight, partly cloudy skies becoming cloudy at times with a 30% chance of showers overnight. Temperatures will fall to the mid-70s. Winds will be east to northeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. High tide is coming up at 10:50 this morning. It will be low at 5:04 this afternoon. High at 10:13 tonight. Sunset will be at 5:49 this evening. And the outlook is for a continued decrease in winds and seas through Thursday morning. Occasional showers are likely through Tuesday night as an inverted trough over eastern Jamaica moves across the Western Caribbean. That, my friends, is your latest weather brought to you by our friends at CG Britcade.
Take some advice from your Aunt Angie. If you want to go scuba diving on your vacation, don't bedazzle your wetsuit. And you think you look great, but what you don't realize is that you look like a shiny, scaly fish. And it won't take long for a shark to notice you. Next thing you know, you're busting out every karate move you got. But if you're smart, you'll have CG medical insurance and get airlifted out to the closest hospital.
Get coverage for emergency evacuations. CG Britcade. Good like that. All benefits are subject to policy provisions, including eligibility at the time of service.
The 8 a.m. weather update, brought to you by CG Britcade, where people come first.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
2025 will be here before you know it. Are you registered to vote? The last voter registration deadline is the 15th of January. Visit elections.ky today to download your registration form. It's quick and easy. Once you've filled it out, bring the form along with your original eligibility documents to the elections office, conveniently located on West Bay Road in Baytown Office Suites. Can't make it in person? No problem. Simply email your completed forms and copies of your documents to office@elections.ky. For more information, visit elections.ky, call 949-8047 or email office@elections.ky.
Radio Cayman News.
The four of us this morning have tendered our resignation.
The four cited a number of concerns as the reason for their departure.
The political arm of government appears to remain in a holding pattern.
Progressive said the resignations highlight a, quote, urgent crisis in the Cayman Islands government.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Once again, good morning, my friends. Crucial cameras giving me some trouble this morning. Can't get them to work, but of course, as usual, the traffic coming out of the Eastern District still piling up as we look at looking down from King Sports Center. Slow-moving traffic heading onto the Linford Pearson and similar on Crew Road. Looking out from Jose's gas station, similar slow-moving traffic as well as you try to get onto Shedden Road, onto Roberts Drive, onto Dorsey Drive, and continuing thereon. Bobby Thompson Way, seeing some congestion as well as you get to the C&B roundabouts. Alder Avenue, slow-moving traffic as well, and now it's getting onto Elgin Avenue and continuing on. Slowly starts to take in the traffic. Looking in the Georgetown area itself, Edward Street, slow-moving traffic in the northward direction of the ongoing construction. Some turning down to Dr. Roy's Drive, those continuing onto 4th Street onto Seafarers Way. We got 3 cruise ships in port. So lots of pedestrian movements will be going on in the Georgetown area. Just be cautious of them as well. Shedden Roads, traffic calm, seems to be slow moving, but pedestrian movement with light traffic out there. And of course, the Butterfield roundabouts, expect the usual traffic in that vicinity. That camera is down as well. So of course, just dealing with the morning traffic, hoping that you have the patience to deal with the traffic this morning time. It's expected this time of the year with lots of Christmas shopping going on, so just have patience and have a Merry Christmas when it comes. Your traffic report brought to you by our good friends at Subway.
This holiday season, Subway is serving up something sweet. Introducing the foot-long cookie. It's ooey gooey and packed with chocolate chip perfection. The ultimate sweet sidekick to your favorite sub, salad, pizza, or catering platter. Whether you're treating yourself or sharing the joy, the foot-long cookie is the perfect bite of holiday cheer. But don't wait. This limited time delight won't last forever. Visit one of their 7 locations, 4 of which are open 24 hours, and grab your foot-long chocolate chip cookie, because who says dessert can't go the extra mile? Subway, fresh for the holidays.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Enjoy a delicious start to your day with breakfast from Subway.
Christmas just got a little brighter at Rocky's Diamonds. Discover their new collection of stunning gold rings, earrings, and necklaces. On special just in time for the holidays. Looking for something unique? Check out their Cayman outline necklace or the always popular Grand Cayman necklaces. But hurry, they sell out fast. Don't miss incredible specials on diamond jewelry to make this Christmas unforgettable. Browse their Christmas catalog at rockysdiamonds.com or follow them on Facebook and Instagram for all the latest deals. Visit Rocky's Diamonds at 28th North Church Street, Waterfront Center, and find the perfect gift to light up your holiday.
Can you tell me, what does a turtle do on his birthday? He celebrates!
Celebrate your loved one's special birthday with a birthday shout-out live on For the Record with Mr. Orrett Connor, only on Radio Cayman. WhatsApp your loved one's name to 925-3261. That's 925-3261. Radio Cayman's birthday shout-outs live on For the Record with Mr. Orrett Connor every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Brought to you by Coca-Cola. Available across the Cayman Islands. From Tortuga Wholesalers. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. And by Superior Auto. They keep your car in tune. Call 949-9570 or 525-9571.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. MP, Mr. Chris Saunders is on his way in, but as you know, traffic is pretty backed up out there as a result, of an earlier vehicular accident. And once you end up, with that traffic being backed up, then it takes quite a while for it to clear up afterwards. You get that bottleneck, and it'll take quite a while for it to be cleared up. But we expect to still have MP Chris Saunders in the studio with us as well. Meanwhile, our phone lines remain open. Our toll-free number 1-800-534-8255. Also, 949-8037, 949-6990, or WhatsApp number 925-3261. We do have a caller on hold. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you? How was the weekend?
Sick. Not too good. Not too good,
sorry to hear
but
that.
thankful. Yeah, this virus still hanging around. Yeah. I think I heard you mention some roads going to be paved somewhere on the island.
Yep, they're doing the junction by the West Bay Police Station today, and starting tomorrow, the stretch to the east of the old drive-in theater, coming all the way down to the, to the Bordentown Police Station. That will be done on the 18th, 17th, and 18th. May take a little bit longer because they have to raise the surface in that area because, that is low, and some of that was former swamp or beach area as well.
Mr. Connor, Walker's Road. My car sounds like it's driving on a grader. This is peeled till it can't peel no more. And I was on another road a couple of days ago. It's the same thing. The road is full of the, what do you call it, the remnants, the remainder of the I call it Old Wilford, call it barbecue road.
yes. The pebbles.
Yeah, it's into the pebbles now, and this is terrible. I keep thinking I got a flat tire. And between these pebbles and all these speed bumps, which is needed, is mashing up our front ends. Tie rod end and CV joint and all those different things is being mashed up. And here they are working everywhere and knowing that we got such heavy traffic too on Walker's Road on a daily basis. We got these school buses running every day on these roads.
Is there a particular portion that you because what it seems as if what they're trying to do now is they're trying to do patchwork in those areas that are the roughest, and that's understood.
Man, the whole road of Walker Road need to be paved. Believe me, it's like a grader. When you get some free time, you go and drive Walker Road for a while and see what. Well, you got big old high up cars. So
no, I feel it in my vehicle as well. Believe you me, I feel it as well. I feel it.
You're not gonna feel nothing. But the road of Walker Road is terrible, man. And another road I was on a couple of days ago, I think it was Eastern Avenue. It was like I had to go to the tire shop. I said, "Tell me something is anything wrong with my tires?" They said, "No." I said, "Well, it got to be the road." Got to be the road. But, Mr. Connor, I don't know where the priorities are in this island when it comes to us, but I got to leave that at that. I just want to say this morning, and I just want to congratulate Mr. Crook there, Jordan.
Yes.
And I'm going to be fresh and tasty and ask, what are the government plans? What are they going to give him? And when I say give, I mean give. You remember the lady there, Mother what?
Mother Sill.
Mother Sill. Gave her a beautiful car, right? Yeah, I think that was under McKeever, if I'm not mistaken. If I made a mistake, forgive me, Mr. Bush.
Sedona Mother Sill is her name.
Yeah. Mother Sill, yes. I mean, this man is putting us on the map around. Every time you wake up, you start hearing something good about this gentleman. And I really, truly feel that he deserves more than just a medal to get back into the Cayman Islands. So I'm just hoping that Dominic can just shake his hand and brush what he did under the mat. I need to hear that he received something material-wise.
Yep. And we see what other jurisdictions do when their nationals, achieve, such. Have such major achievements on the international stage. We see what other countries do.
Yeah, the government can buy him a condo in the 7 Mile. There's a lot of condos down there. For real. You won't have to worry about that coming up after he finished college and all that kind of stuff. He started his family, whatever the case may be.
Yep.
Give him a condo. That's what I'm rooting for, a condo. Or a piece of private property with a house already built on it. And if he doesn't like the house, he can do some little remodeling when he get down the line. He needs something big, real and truly. So I got more to talk about, but I don't feel great this morning, so I'm gonna leave you there.
Okay, yeah, you want to make sure you take it easy as well. When is school out?
On Friday.
Friday, okay.
But you know, I had some family went away, and they pick up the bug. They had the bug up there while I was up there in the U.S. This bug is all over.
Yeah.
You know what the doctor did? The doctor didn't get no prescription. Just told him to drink a lot of fluid.
Yeah, and that is what the HSA and the chief medical officer here advised as well. In addition to the precautionary measures that should be taken, they advise is to keep yourself hydrated.
I mean, I can't drink anymore when I'm drinking as it is now. I'm drinking more my body can hold, and that time I try to eat something, that's when it kicks off. So I don't know how to get it out of my system.
The body will do it. Yeah, it just takes time. It won't happen. The body's going to do it at its own pace.
I wish I could just push a hose down and pull it all out.
You just follow the instructions and keep yourself hydrated. Don't drink too much at one time though. Drink it in stages, and the body will react to it. You're going to reach a point where you're going to really feel really bad, and that is when it is starting to change, and you're going to see the improvements come along as well. Yeah. I'm no doctor, but and I didn't play one on TV.
The people told me that they had a good vomit and a good bathroom thing, and they said they went away. But all that not happening with me, So I don't know what to say. But anyhow, it is what it is. Once God keep me awake, I'll be all right.
Yep.
Yeah.
All the best. Yep.
All
Take
right,
care. Take care.
Good. Good.
Any other callers on hold, Paul? No caller on hold. So let's share with you some of the media releases from the various entities within the Cayman Islands government. This one is coming from Customs and Border Control Services. They confirmed that a fire was reported at the Bordentown Civic Center at approximately 8:30 p.m. this evening, on Saturday evening. Cayman Islands Fire Service, they were on the scene. No injuries were reported. Alternative arrangements are being made for the 16 migrants currently housed at the Civic Center, and the matter is under investigation. I'm made to understand that those 16 migrants may have been transferred to the Breakers Community Center as well. Another caller on hold. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Jose.
Hey, yep. Morning again.
Yeah, you call this telepathic. That is exactly what I was calling in about. I didn't want to be. I told you I didn't want to be too controversial, but I had to call in about this, and I forgot. The fire at the Bordentown Civic Center, in my opinion, I come to the conclusion, because of information I've got from people who works in the Public Work Department, that those people that you all have kidnapped and hold them here against their will, now the chickens are coming home to roost. Those people are constantly mashing up and doing all kind of things at that civic center, even installing extra air-conditioned units within the inside of the building. They have said loudly to the public work people that they don't want to live there. They want to be put in a facility where there's a swimming pool, whether it be a hotel or a major condominium complex. They want to be where a swimming pool is established, where they can have access to a swimming pool. So now I
guess everyone is entitled to their dreams.
Yeah, that too. But my opinion is that they caught a fire that place willfully, right? So they could be moved from there. And now you say you're putting on breakers?
I heard that's where they were. They have been.
I don't think
nothing official. Nothing official.
There's no swimming pool up there, so make sure you got the fire truck on standby, because they want to be put in a place where there's a swimming pool. Or see, we need to stop housing these people. Whenever they come ashore East End, make my cousin Billy and Bill Adam, give them some corned beef and some gasoline or whatever they want, fix the engine, and make the people go on their way.
And then
human rights are monitor.
And when there's a casualty at sea, when something disastrous happens, and it comes out that the Cayman Islands assisted them in continuing their journey, who's going to take the flak? All of the international flak, not only to mention the possible what should I say, the possible responsibility that we could be assigned to the Cayman Islands for their demise, because we help them along in unseaworthy vehicles. Who's going to take who's going to take that flak?
So we can't be charged. They can't bring us to court too for kidnapping or what? Holding them against their will?
No, I think what we're doing is a part of the international norm. The international norm. They are illegal migrants trying to get to some other jurisdiction illegally, where they have no visas or anything. So when we do that, we are helping them in furtherance of their illegal activity. We have here in the Cayman Islands have to be seen as upholding the rule of law, international law.
The people leave their home and they're on the high seas. They're just unfortunate, not that they meant to come here. They just washed up on our shore because of certain circumstances.
The point is they're here. The point is they
give the people some gas and some corned beef and make the people continue.
We wish it, Lord Graham. We wish it were that simple. We wish it were that simple.
They're on their way, but we don't know where they're going. Okay? They want to leave. They tell you straight and plain that they want to leave. They don't want to stop. They want to continue their journey, right? Wherever that might be. We don't want to know where they're going, right? We just don't want to house them here so they can burn down ourselves, etc. You see? So now...
Well, we can address that as well. We can put them up at Northwood Prison, where they're certainly much more secure.
Yeah, but secure, but that's $2,000 a year? Isn't that what that is per person? There you go again. How much it costs in our sources or house these people?
No, the answer to it is really to have them repatriated, as quickly as possible. And
how quickly that is, or see what we got to do to repatriate these people. These people have been here for a long time.
And I can't say too much because I don't want to be conflicted in any way. I don't want it to appear as if I'm conflicted in any way. So I'm going to hear you out on this rather than commenting anymore.
You don't want to say too much because you don't want to make the public know that you part of the kidnapping or what?
Those days are over. My days have been over a long time ago, from 2003.
On a serious note,
yeah,
these people are escaping somewhere where they said it was so awful that they go on the high seas in a little makeshift boat, something that would sink 10 minutes after they leave. And they come to these beautiful shores, and we put them up. And we feed them. They don't go hungry. They're free to walk them. I see them all over the place. And then they got turned around and be ungrateful that they want this, they want that. And then if they don't get it, they damage the property, our property. No, see, I think we need to get them out of here real quick.
Good point. I'm going to ask you to leave us there. I have my guest in the studio, but I first have to go to a commercial break.
Depends on what he's talking about. I'll be calling back on him, too.
Feel free. The phone lines will be...
I want to grab him around the neck, too.
Phone lines will be open soon, Lord Graham.
All right.
Take care, folks. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, a guest who needs no introduction, but as the rules, the norms go, I still have to introduce him. We will be back shortly. Please stay tuned.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
Kirk Freeport's annual $40,000 Christmas sweepstakes is back once again. Simply spend $100 at your favorite Kirk Freeport store to enter to win one of 3 $5,000 cash prizes, one of 5 $1,000 cash prizes, and loads of other great prizes throughout December. And of course, the one you're all waiting for, the Rolex watch prize draw for all entries will be held on January 3rd. All purchases of $100 at any Kirk Freeport store before noon on Christmas Eve qualify for all remaining prize draws. Full details on kirkfreeport.com. Merry Christmas from everyone at Kirk Freeport.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you. From cookware to stereos, from power tools to plumbing supplies. Yeah, we got the best goods with the best price and a service to make you smile. At Kirk's Home Center, we got a great deal in store for you.
Shop at Funky Tangs, the home of electronics and more. Check out Funky Tangs' 2 locations, Shedden Road and Countryside Savannah, for loads of fireworks for the Christmas and New Year celebration. Also in stock at Funky Tangs, stoves, fridges, and small appliances, mini split air conditioning units, computers and televisions, portable radios, CD players and tablets, sheet sets and comforters, all sizes, cell phones and cordless phones, musical instruments, fragrances, and more. Funky Tangs. For more information, call 949-0998. Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year from the management and staff of Funky Tangs.
This is For the Record.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're extremely grateful to Member of Parliament, Mr. Chris Saunders, for taking time out of his busy schedule. And before the next, what is it, sitting or meeting?
Yeah, sitting.
Sitting. The meeting is the big thing, and the sitting is each time that each day that you go there. From his busy schedule for before the sitting of our Parliament this morning. Great to have him in the studio. Mr. Saunders, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning, Osi, and thanks very much for having me. Always great to be here. You know, I have a soft spot for the show already. So, you know that already.
Yes.
You and Dr. Steve, you guys in a different boat. And, speaking of Dr. Steve, one of the things I want to publicly is to thank Dr. Steve for the wonderful work he did when he chaired the Immigration Board. You saw the statistics I sent you last week. And you could see, what Dr. Steve on that board, you had Joanne Barnes on the board, Roswell McLaughlin, Charlotte Watler, Denise Demarcado. Yeah, you had some really good people on that board looking out for Caymanians, and I think the numbers themselves speak for themselves. Last year, when I look at the number of statuses for 2023, that was given by on virtue of naturalization, grounds of naturalization. Last year for 2023, the number was actually 64. And this year, up to the end of October, the number is actually 730. So you can directly see that the board was actually really working. I know people were complaining, but I know that board was taking people through the ringer. They were bringing in people, questioning them, especially those on the grounds of marriage and everything else, that kind of stuff. So I was glad to see we had people who were some good guardians of our birthright.
Yes, and we need that. We definitely need that, as well. Okay, the mic is yours, so I'm going to let you take it.
One of the things I wanted to touch on, I know there was some controversy to some extent over the proposed healthcare protection fund. And one of the things, OC, is that we spend a lot of time talking about what was and, what has happened in the past. And I've always said to people, my concern has always been the future, because that's where I intend to live, and that's where I think everybody intends to live. And the thing about it is the Healthcare Protection Fund is one of the things that needs to be addressed. And, the last Parliament gave me the opportunity, the last week, as you were going through that motion, and the leader of the opposition and former leader of the opposition, the member for Georgetown East, was speaking to in his contribution, he basically said, you reminded the House, that was something that he had also raised in his budget debate. But it kind of took me back to memory lane, because I look at the very first private member motion number 1 of 2017-2018 when I just gotten elected. And my very, very first motion dealt with the healthcare reform. It was brought by Mr. Ezra Miller, and I had seconded it. And it had passed. That was on the 24th of August 2017. And the truth of the fact is that we have not yet tackled that issue. And the thing I wanted to make to the public, especially right now we can say we have an aging population. I mean, the statistics, everything is there. And one of the things that really jumped out at me, if you look at the government's September 30th results, inside the government, I think on page 19 of that report, they actually said the unfunded medical liability was $2.4 billion. And that is the amount for current and past civil servants, government contractual obligation. You go back 10 years before that, in 2014, the number was $1.18 billion. You go back 10 years before that again, back in 2004, the number was $645 million. So it's almost as if for 10 years it is doubling. And the thing about it, then you look at the unfunded pension liability, which again was another $350 million plus as of September 30th. And that's on the core government.
And can you, for the benefit of our listening and viewing audience, explain to them what that unfunded liability is all about?
Basically, what it means is that government has a contractual obligation due over the next 20 years. Based on the contract, so you take yourself as a former civil servant, who put in your years, put in your time. Government has a responsibility to give you basically health insurance or health coverage until the day you die. And also for your spouse too. And if your kids are on 18 years of age, then of course I don't think you'll be out there having the kids on that age, but at least I hope not. That we know of. But so it is a contractual obligation. And as you look at the size of the civil service growing now, so if you think about what we're spending now on past civil servants, and you take the current group of what we have right now, then all of a sudden you realize the number is actually going to be getting bigger and bigger and bigger because you're adding more civil servants and people are living longer too.
Yep.
So, and the point I wanted to make to the public is this: government in the future, I mean, right now government already have their own obligation, but in the future you don't know what the situation is going to be for government financially, but they have a contractual obligation. So before they can even start helping people retiring from the private sector, they have their own contractual obligation. So in short, don't be sitting down depending on the government in the future. You don't know what the situation may be where they may be able to help you. You know what I mean? So, and what we wanted to do was to start set up a fund to start putting money away, banking money away for that little rainy day when the time comes, because we know it's coming. And more importantly, OC, one of the things that we wanted from the fund was a safety net. 95% of the people in this country makes their money from providing a service. You're here this morning because you're healthy. God forbid, what would happen to someone in their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, or even younger? They have a stroke. They have a heart attack. Can't work for 6 months, 12 months, 2 years. What happened to their bills? What happened to their families? And it's funny because the people who are complaining about this, most of them come from countries that they can run back to that have these programs in place. The US have Medicaid for their citizens. Canada got their free health care. The UK have their own safety net over there. But when you try to put in the same thing now for the Caymanian people, it becomes a challenge. And this is the point I'm making, is that are we comfortable living in a country where 95% of our people is one medical emergency away from being bankrupt? And the thing about it is, and I'll tell you, I love the Premier because she has a social conscience. Regardless of what people say, I can tell you, she genuinely has a social conscience. And the thing about it is this: I can tell you, based on my conversations with her, she herself was trying her best ways in which to find, a workaround. And as I said to her, Premier, I knew you guys weren't going to accept that portion. Because if you go back and check the last budget, the government actually tried to raise stamp duty on 7 Mile Beach. And they met a lot of resistance with that. So there was no way they were going to support a one-off raise on 7 Mile Beach versus an annual raise across the entire island, 2% for all non-Caymanians. So I knew they were painted in a corner. But the message I want the Caymanian people to get from that, as they listen to the contribution of just about every other speaker, If you don't want, if you're saying that foreigners shouldn't be paying for it, then it means only one other group of people left to pay for it,
yeah.
which is Caymanians, which is us locals. So in that case now, give us the tools, which is what drove the second motion that I carry in terms of the set up the mortgage company. 70%, if you go and you Google, anywhere between 59 to 70% of mortgages in the United States is backed by the U.S. government.
Yep.
You know, we have over, according to SEMA's last thing, we have over $2 billion right now in mortgages. You know, and are we comfortable of living in a country where we have seen people mortgage payments move like that from month to month to month because of the Federal Reserve System? You know what I mean? In the States, my cousin had 8 interest rate rises thereabouts. My cousin's mortgage payment didn't go up one bit because in the States, mortgages are backed by the bond market. Nobody's using bank money like that to these long-term loans. There's no 30-year deposit in a bank to support a 30-year loan. That is why they basically go out and, you know, look at floating a bond. So from that standpoint, what we wanted to do from the mortgage company is to actually go set up a bond, and we can raise a bond 4 or 5%, and then you can say to the people, you know what, I can now give you a fixed 30-year bond at 5.5%. If interest rates go down, you can at least lower your payments. You can refinance into a lower rate. But at least you don't have to sit down and worry about your mortgage going up from that standpoint. You know, because then, I mean, you got, and part of the motion that I called for was actually for those customers within the in that company, we can actually go out now and get a special reinsurance group for them. So I did the research, I spoke to the people in the industry, and they're saying, well, if you have it just within a group, we can also get a special insurance for them. Because the property insurance is another issue. You know, but it can't be a situation where we're sitting down looking to do exactly the same thing. One of the things I tabled in the last session, OC, was a letter that we had gotten from the Caribbean Development Bank. It's tabled so I can speak about it publicly. But in a nutshell, OC, what we did, we went out and we secured, well, we spoke to the Caribbean Development Bank, we brought them in, and we agreed that we would do about $100 million US line of credit. You know, and that was basically to help in terms of mortgages for the low-income earners and so forth. And some of it was built in, you know, technical assistance, like on food security and so forth. Had we taken that $100 million, do you know what it would have done in terms of our finances? I'm going to show you something. Buried in our FFR is something called net debt, which we're allowed to carry that ratio up to 80%. As of September 30th, per the government, that number was 5.4%. Had we taken that line of credit from the Caribbean Development Bank, US $100 million to help our people, that 5.4% would have been 10%.
Wow.
And, you know, when I spoke to the Premier about it, and she said, you know, Chris, and like I said, I can honestly say, from my discussions, the Premier was genuinely trying to find a solution because she herself recognizes the challenges. And the thing about it is, I remember she saying to me, you know, Chris, you know, January is a new financial year. I'm making probably $3 million to help the CIDB. I said, Premier, $3 million? I'm looking $300 million. And you may smile, but had we go out and float a bond for $300 million, set up a mortgage company, float a bond for $300 million, do you know what that net debt number would move from 5.4? You know where it would carry to? 20%. Well below the 80%. So the question is then, why is the government always trying to use their money? Why are they using the people's money when there are other mechanisms that you can use to help your people?
Is it could it be that, you know, governments just don't like, especially if the public, if they are misinformed, because you hear people talking all the time about, you know, government going in debt, not realizing how much, you know,
We'll see.
that it's really the debt that is there really is nothing compared to others, and what you are, like you pointed out, what you are allowed to reach, you know, 85%, and we've only used, you know, 5%, you know, of it. Well, is it just that innate fear that people are going to criticize them?
I say this much, because I raised that in my contribution. Mortgage is a debt. Are you going to say then that you don't want a mortgage because you don't want a home because mortgage? What's the use of having good credit
And not
if you
using
don't
it.
use it. No, can you
Yeah,
imagine
yeah.
a family member coming to you, boy, OC, I'm stuck, I'm sleeping on the beach. I don't need, I need some place to stay. Boy, I can't help you, you know. But if there's any consolation, we got good credit. People out there, utility bills killing them, struggling. Boy, I can't help you, you know. But we got good credit. You know, people house insurance is killing them. Can't help you, but we got good credit.
Yeah. But doesn't it also have a lot to do with people believing that government should always show a profit, like the private sector?
Hold on. The thing about it in the OC, this is actually what would drive more business in the private sector. To give Jack his jacket, one of the best motions in this parliamentary session, and I've said it publicly, and I'm not afraid to give credit, came from Joey, who leader of the opposition from George Shore North. Joey brought a motion. I don't remember the video. I mean, I felt bad because I remember I don't think the government at the time had fully understood the motion that Joey had brought.
Okay.
And I remember going to Minister Jay and saying, Jay, you guys need to support this, you know. This is actually a good motion. And when I explained it to him, Jay's like, they didn't realize it from that angle. So they were looking at it from a particular angle.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't look at it from a different angle. And so when the vote came, you know, Jay did not have enough time to go back and discuss with his colleagues because it was like just before the whole thing.
Okay.
And then, so coming on the line, you know, government members started voting no. Jay now, having had a discussion with me, decide, wait a minute, I'm going to abstain. Because Jay now recognizes what, I don't think the motion, the way it was written, was ultimately that clear, to be fair. But, you know, having sitting down and gone through it myself, I like, okay, I really understand what the Joey was trying to get done. So at that point now, Jay couldn't, in good conscience now, after I've explained it to him, I said, Joe, you know, Minister, boom, 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 this is it. The lights went off, and then he abstained. Then all of a sudden now, the government member was like, wait a minute, the minister responsible, because they already had made up their mind in terms of how they were going to vote, haven't discussed it. But now with the information that was presented to Minister Jay, and like I said, Jay is one of the most hardworking, best person I can tell you can ever work with in politics. You know what I mean? And more importantly, pragmatic. And so when he realized that, no, that he couldn't vote against it, you know, having information, it caused a confusion on the government bench. You know what I mean? So it's sad because the PPM decided to take advantage of it and go back and play the video where the government members had,
to get
you
some
know,
political mileage
exactly.
out of it.
Whereas missing the point that, you know, I mean, they should have celebrated the fact that the government, wait a minute, fully understood what the motion was. Because I don't think Joe himself, he not probably made the case or explained the case properly from that regard. But, you know, I mean, I haven't gone through and understand what the thing was. And in a nutshell, what it was simply this. Government has the GGM program where they basically guarantee people mortgage. That program won't be as effective, can be as effective if no homes are being built. So you can go there and you can guarantee a mortgage of 15, 20, 25 years. But here's the flip side of that. If you OC come to the government and say, listen, I got 20 acres of land. I want to build 30 homes. The government should say to you, OC, go to our National Housing Trust, sit with them, show them what it is you want to do. You know, size of the houses, where you're going to build them, all the kind of stuff, the quality of the materials you're going to use, the whole 9 yards, and give a selling point. They look at it and say, you know what, this is a good project. This is actually something that we would have done. So you know what? We'll give you the guarantee for that mortgage. You not take that letter, you go to the bank. A guarantee from the Cayman government, the bank is not giving you that money. You have now gone out, you have the green light now to do the 30 homes.
And the guarantee basically from government is that, you know, we're going to.
Yeah. So that now guarantee is what would have moved your net debt ratio from, say, 5.4%. And in this case, a small amount, maybe more to about maybe 0.5%.
Yeah.
To maybe 6%, from 5.4% to 6%. Barely anything. You know, it depends on the size of it and other factors. What money would the government have used at that point? Zero. Yeah. You have now incentivized the private sector to go do that. You have now incentivized the private sector to go build homes. And all you're taking is a government guarantee, and it's $0 to the taxpayers. No.
And government does that with a lot of statutory authorities.
Exactly.
They did it with, Cayman Airways. They did it with the Airports Authority.
And
all of those entities.
So now, rather than government finding the cash to go out and do this, the government can now sit on this cash and let the private sector go do it. You know what I mean? When those homes are built, now you can go guarantee the mortgage because the most of development may be 1-2 years for that project to get done. So your guarantee is a smaller period. So, but then those homes now, so you'll be willing to go out and guarantee 30-40 homes after they're being built. Why not just move the guarantee a little bit earlier before they're being built so that you can guarantee something after they're being built? But the objective is to get homes built and to get our people into homes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if you can sit down there and you set the price point saying, guys, this is where we're going to go, I guarantee you those guys are going to find a way to bring it within that price point. You know what I mean? The minute you start, you turn around, you move the government first-time concession for buyers to a certain amount, land prices move to that amount.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So if you sit down, you do this in reverse, where you sit down and you say, okay, if you can bring in on this price point, and you know this quality and of houses and everything else, then we get that guarantee.
Yeah.
And of course that can work. You save your money. The most you move is like 5.4% to 6%. You know what I mean? But homes are being built. Your people are getting built.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing now with reverse mortgages, because the minute you set up that company with that bond and that company floats a bond, you know what I mean? That company now is giving the government guarantee. That's why they've gone out and getting the bond. You know what I mean? And the thing about it is, if we recognize that you're saying you don't want foreigners to pay for it, you want Caymanians to pay for it, then I need two things. Give them that reverse mortgage, because what's the use of having an asset if you can't do anything with it in case of an emergency? You know what I mean? You have situations where, you know, people have very genuine medical emergencies. You're sitting in a house, the house has equity in it. You reach a certain age, the banks don't even want to touch you. Because for you to get a loan from the bank, you're also going to need to go and get life insurance and all that kind of stuff. And the life insurance payment will also kill you again too. You know what I mean? So at least from that standpoint, give the people the tools. And the other tool that I needed was greater access to their pension. People generally have a medical emergency. People have a housing emergency. Sometimes they also need to repair for, you know what I mean, for different things. You're going to sit down and let their asset basically degrade, but yet they're sitting on another asset and they can't touch it to help one asset.
Okay.
Come on now.
MP Saunders, when we come back, I want you to explain to our listening and viewing audience a little bit more about the whole reverse mortgage initiative, because in some jurisdictions, reverse mortgages have been seen to be predatory because, you know, if they're run by private entities as opposed to government entities. So if you could explain that, I think that would be extremely important. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation with MP, Mr. Christopher Saunders, will continue. Don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Kirk Market's 12 Days of Gift Cards is back. Each day, 12 lucky customers will win a $100 Kirk Market gift card just for shopping at Kirk Market. Ho, ho, ho! You heard that right. Every day for 12 days with 12 lucky winners each day. Come in December 11th through the 24th and shop. You could win. And there's no minimum required. It's that easy. It's Kirk Market's 12 Days of Gift Cards. December 11th through the 24th. The countdown to Christmas is on at Kirk Market.
The Lions Club of Grand Cayman is proud to continue to serve our island community. During the last Lionistic year, they successfully carried out community projects like the Prostate and Colon Cancer Awareness Campaign, sight screenings, spelling bees, swim meets, and their community food pantry. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman looks forward to continuing their service during the 2024-2025 Lionistic year and for many more years to come. The Lions Club of Grand Cayman, where there's a need, there's a lion, serving the community for over 50 years.
Ready to deck your halls in style? This Christmas, Tomlinson Furniture has everything you need to spruce up your home for the holidays. Discover new arrivals in dining and living room sets to bedroom sets, mattresses, accent pieces, and more. Or shop online at tomlinsonfurniture.ky. Enjoy great deals throughout the store with extra savings off the lowest price. Plus, enter for your chance to win a $500 shopping spree. The perfect gift for you. The team at Tomlinson Furniture sends warm wishes for a joyful and cozy Christmas season. Visit Tomlinson Furniture at the corner of Hospital and Walkers Road today.
The Butcher Shop at Rankin's Farm is ready to stock your kitchen this holiday season with delicious fresh local meats, beef, pork, and goat available now and cut to order. And they have you covered with fresh produce, hot and seasoned peppers, tomatoes, and scallions straight from Rankin's Farm. The Butcher Shop at Rankin's Farm is located at 3032 Shamrock Road by Rankin's Jerk. Open Monday to Saturday, 7:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. Call 929-4584. Make it a happy holiday season with The Butcher Shop at Rankin's Farm.
Information, entertainment, inspiration.
Covering Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, Cayman Brac.
Since 1976 till now.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
I'm April Cummings with your headlines. The Department of Environment got a report of a loggerhead turtle entangled in 2 buoy markers swimming freely in the 7 Mile Beach area. The public is asked to be on the lookout for 2 small yellow and white buoys traveling across the water and to report anything they suspect might be the distressed turtle to DOE conservation officers. The number to call, 916-4271. Again, 916-4271. In Trinidad, police and fire officials are investigating the cause of a fire that led to the death of junior education minister. Initial reports indicate that the fire at her home claimed the lives of 2 other people, including a 6-year-old child. Media reports say Morris Julian, her son, and a sister were in a section of the house they could not escape and died there. Her husband and other children were able to make it out safely. Police say 12 people have died from carbon monoxide poisoning at a ski resort in Georgia. The bodies of 11 foreigners and 1 Georgian national were found in a sleeping area above a restaurant in Gudari, the largest and highest ski resort in the former Soviet state. Police say preliminary tests do not indicate any trace of violence on the bodies and that it appeared to be an accident. This is according to reports from the AFP news agency. An oil-powered generator had been turned on after the building lost electricity on Friday. Those are your headlines. I'm April Cummings.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Do you have a healthcare question but not sure who to ask? Contact HSA's Patient Call Center to speak to one of our experienced clinical team members. We are here to answer your questions and help guide you through your healthcare journey. Need to make an appointment? Our team can help. Contact HSA at 949-8600 or email info@hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Kirk Market's 12 Days of Gift Cards is back. Each day, 12 lucky customers will win a $100 Kirk Market gift card just for shopping at Kirk Market. Ho, ho, ho! You heard that right. Every day for 12 days with 12 lucky winners each day. Come in December 11th through the 24th and shop. You could win. And there's no minimum required. It's that easy. It's Kirk Market's 12 Days of Gift Cards. December 11th through the 24th. The countdown to Christmas is on at Kirk Market.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. It's my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning MP Mr. Christopher Saunders, who has brought several private members' motions to our Parliament. This meeting, of Parliament as well. Before we went to the commercial break, I asked Mr. Saunders when we return, if he could explain the concept of reverse mortgages in the Cayman Islands context, as opposed to some other jurisdictions where where it has a completely different meaning. And one more thing as well, if we can go back to the motion in terms of creating this fund and tell our listeners exactly what happened in Parliament and what was the end result of that.
No problem. Going back to the reverse, thanks OC for that. Starting back with reverse mortgage. Before I get into that, I want to make a step back.
Sure.
the only way to grow any successful economy, which has been proven thus far, is to have policies to grow a middle class. And you basically need to create an opportunity economy to get that done. The two things that the middle class need, the working class need more than anything, is access to capital and access to credit. Don't care how bad things get with people. At the end of the day, let's be real. It takes cash to care. Period. It ain't gonna be no hoping or I hope everything work out. No. It ain't no hope. In this business, it ain't no hope is not a policy. It takes cash to care. The thing about it is, we are in a country where, barring a credit union, every financial institution we have is foreign owned. Let's be realistic. Now you say one clamoring to go join a credit union. Because that's the only domestic one we have where people will actually make domestic decisions on credit domestically. And what we're saying is simply this. We recognize that our people will have challenges from time to time. They will have emergencies from time to time. It could be medical, it could be otherwise. It may not be an emergency to you, but to them, it's an emergency. Now, when people reach a certain age in our country, credit is cut off to them. So barring a credit card, banks don't even want to look at them. That's a fact. And I can tell you as a former banker, when you're a certain age, we're like, no, this is not happening. You know what I mean? So from that standpoint, our job is to give our people the tools that if they have that emergency, there is at least some place they can turn to help with their dignity. Some people, I can tell you, don't want to go through the NAU process. They don't want to go through the government process. We have to provide all this information. Sometimes a person just needs a quick $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 as a line of credit. Your house is an asset. An asset is something you can either sell it to make back money. In cases you don't want to sell it. You know what I mean? A car is an asset. You can't rent it out, but you can sell it if you need to make something off your car. You know what I mean? Or go get a license, go rent it out, maybe somebody. But the point that I'm making is this, is that we want to make sure that when our people go to sleep at nights, they can know that if they have a genuine emergency, there is an avenue there to help them. And the best and the biggest asset that most people have is their homes. Now, how would it work is simply this. Say you have, and the thing about it is this, say you have a house that's valued $500,000. We can sell it to say, you know what, we'll allow you a maximum exposure of 40% of your equity. In other words, you can get a credit line up to $200,000 on your house. Now, one of the things you don't want to do is give people a big lump sum of money. Too big. Because, sometimes the kids will come and you're talking about a different thing. But in some cases, you can say, well, you can take a $15,000, $20,000 lump sum to deal with your emergency. And then, if needs be, you can get monthly payments in, or you can just it could be a one-time line of credit. But either way, the bottom line is that we can sit down and tailor it to the needs of our people. You understand me? And what they need to know, the go away, is that if I was at $500,000, and even if you won't go to retire, and you still balance even $50,000 in your mortgage, you can stop right there, and you can go back and pull another $150,000 in equity. So some people want to retire, but they don't retire. Why? Because they still have a little mortgage. They still have a little small mortgage balance. You know what I mean? In this situation here, you don't have to go that route. You can say, no, I can retire, knowing I own $50,000 because reverse mortgage tools are available to me. Now, in some U.S., for example, the federal, before you can draw on the funds and so forth, you have to go through the counseling. You have to go through like a kind of program where they explain it to you, like a educational course. Because at the end of the day, the children ultimately are the ones who ultimately will, when you transition, will be the one responsible for it. And so it's important that the family understands that. But I have a situation, I have constituents where I see the parents struggling. Because of the cost of living challenges, the kids can't help at this time. Period. Now, in some cases, when the parents do pass, they know they're going to get the parents' asset and they can do something with it. What's the use of the kids getting a windfall of money from selling the parents' house or renting the parents' house out or something, after the parents transitions.
Right, and the parent
But
having
when
to
the parents
suffer in
was,
the meantime.
but while the parents was alive, they couldn't do nothing.
Yeah.
I know people who want to help their parents and just financially can't because things are tough. So again, it's an asset. Let us put use to the asset. And you don't have to sit down and worry about no bank taking your stuff because, like I said, this is a government-run, government-owned program. I'm not trusting the private sector with my seniors. And then traditionally, most banks would have a problem offering a reverse mortgage because you can't be lending out money and then say, oh, I'm going to wait 30 years to get it back. Or that it's all with no payments being made or anything. You know what I mean? So most of these programs are actually government programs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, you may have some private institution in some other countries that may do it, but we are looking for a government-owned company. And like I said, OC, $300 million, a company going out and raising $300 million. Moving your net debt number from 5.4% to 20% is a fraction of the 80% that you're allowed. You know what I mean? And these are the kind of things that, one, take strain off the government, and two, allow people to help themselves with dignity.
Now, you would go about raising that through a bond issue. And then how do you, let's say, for instance, if you do five years, and then those 5 years come, how do you pay off the bond at that point in time, or do you roll it over? How do you go about it?
Structure the bond. I mean, like I said, this is where the experts will come in. You can say to the bond, listen, for the bondholders, you only be getting your interest payments for the next 30 years, and then you get a big lump sum payment at the end of 30. You know what I mean? We are, from that standpoint, people don't mind, because guess what? If I come to you and I say, oh, see, look at the same reason everybody's looking to run the credit union now, because of the dividends and everything. If I come and I go to the Cayman and people and say, listen, I want to do a bond paying you 5%. And every year or every quarter, you get 5% of the value. That's the dividends you're getting every quarter coming in. And then they give you a lump sum at the end of it.
Right.
Guess what? I can now turn around and having a little small fee inside there for administrative purposes, charge even say 5.25% on a loan. So now I can go out. And the thing about it is, because you have a combination of both regular mortgages and reverse mortgage, so you wouldn't put the full 300 million to reverse. You probably say put about maybe 100 million or 75 million towards reverse, and the rest is normal payment. So those individuals now, while they're making their monthly payments coming in, those payments coming in is what is now going to the interest to all of the people. And I'm sure if you go to the Caymanian people, because first of all, no bank is giving you even 5% interest. And you can say to the Caymanian people, listen, I'm giving you 5% interest. You get your money every quarter. They'll be like, you know what? Sign me up. You know what I mean? Sign me up. And now we can now go out and take that money and lend it to our people at 5.25%. And
the equivalent to that would be if you purchase shares in a company here.
Exactly.
And I won't call any names.
Yeah,
we know that people have invested in shares in companies, and they don't necessarily get 5% either.
This is the headline. You can read the headline to your thing now. What the headline says.
U.S. October budget deficit jumps to $257 billion, handling hold to Trump.
Okay. Let me tell you why I raised that issue in the House.
Or handing hold to Trump, sorry.
Let me tell you why I raised that issue in the House last week. Last year, the U.S. government did almost $1.9 trillion in deficit. Now, when the U.S. government, for $257 billion that they need to go find for the month of October, how do they think the U.S. government finds that money? The U.S. government go and issue bonds. And they basically go out and say to somebody, well, because everybody always look at the Federal Reserve bonds. No one looks at the U.S. government bonds themselves. The U.S. government also issue bonds because they need to raise money. Now, here's what happened last month. So the U.S. now had to go out and find. So this year, the U.S. is on a $3 trillion run rate deficit. That means they have to go out and go raise about $3 trillion in bonds. And that is always that debt ceiling limit that they always end up arguing about, allowing the government to go out and borrow. That's really what it is. Now, something happened last month, which jumped on my radar. And that's where I'm really pushing this issue more. Is you can read this headline here, and I will explain it to you. You can read that one to your listeners.
How China could weaken the U.S. dollar.
All right, now, here's what China did last month. And again, This is the part of me where I stay up late at night when you saw the crazy messages come through. This is the kind of stuff I do.
Yes.
Last month, China decided, getting ahead of the whole Trump trade war, because they're heading for that trade war situation. China decided to issue a bond for $2 billion. The challenge is this bond was in US dollars. Not the Chinese currency, US dollars. What does that mean? China have now just said, and here's the part, when the US government goes and issue their bonds, it's normally 2-3 times oversubscribed. So in other words, if you come, 2 or 3 people show up and say, no, I'll take it. You know what I mean? You only look in one person, but 2 or 3 people show up.
Yeah.
China, 20 people showed up. China bond was 20 times oversubscribed. And they literally got their bonds raised at literally, I think about 1 basis point, pretty much in line with the same thing as the US government. Okay? As the government goes out now, the US government goes out to raise money for bonds. The Chinese are now saying, bring the US dollars to me instead. What do you think is going to happen when the US and the China start that battle for the excess US funds in the market? It's going to increase demand because China is now going to make it more difficult for the US government to borrow. Again, this is just geopolitics.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen to bond interest rates during that time? What do you think Janet Yellen and all of them keep running around? People fail to realize it was China who bailed out the US during the 2008 financial crisis. China was one buying up the US government bonds that they needed to bail out the banks. And it was Chinese who bought the bonds. What do you think is going to happen when China start pressuring? The US government is going to say, man, you know what? I'll pay you 4.5%. China rose and said, I'll pay you 4.55. US government say 4. Either way, you're running the risk now of an interest rate war on the bonds. Okay? Where do you think Cayman going to be stuck inside of that? You think we're going to escape that when all of our stuff is pegged to the US dollar? Because at the end of the day, if the US government is out there putting their bonds at, say, 4.5%, even the Federal Reserve won't do a bond at 3%, people are like, to hell with that. I'm going to the US government one. You know what I mean? So from that standpoint now, you're now starting a possible interest rate war that is looming outside there.
Okay.
We saw what happened to our people when we had all of these massive interest rate right the last time, where people monthly payments went up to $2,000 and more. Our job right now is to go and enslave our people. You need to take a break or something? I see that.
Yeah.
Okay, take the break.
And what I'm going to say also is that, when we come back, explain to our listening and viewing audience as well the mere fact that there's so much money circulating now, how easy it is on the international market, on the bond market, or maybe even locally to raise $300 million. Not a whole lot of money when you think about it as well. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Kirk Market's 12 Days of Gift Cards is back. Each day, 12 lucky customers will win a $100 Kirk Market gift card just for shopping at Kirk Market. Ho, ho, ho! You heard that right. Every day for 12 days with 12 lucky winners each day. Come in December 11th through the 24th and shop. You could win. And there's no minimum required. It's that easy. It's Kirk Market's 12 Days of Gift Cards. December 11th through the 24th. The countdown to Christmas is on at Kirk Market.
For the Health of It, heard on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. and repeated on Saturdays at 9:30 a.m. is brought to you by Cayman Medical Center, Cayman's most awarded private medical clinic, located in the heart of Georgetown. Visit their website at medical.ky or call 623-1000.
Start your day in the know. Don't miss a beat. Radio Cayman's 7 a.m. news keeps you informed every Monday through Saturday at 7 a.m. Brought to you by Cayman National, proudly serving the Cayman Islands since 1974.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. One of our listeners has written in, and I'm going to share this with you, Mr. Saunders. Person says, good morning. I thank Mr. Saunders for speaking in regards to one of the issues with the number of contracted employees that we have, etc., etc. I guess they mean work permit as well. I brought the issue to a public meeting in regards to collecting data on health. I mentioned that's one reason that Caymanian children no longer had free medical due to the contracted employees being compulsory. Caymanian children had to be excluded out. I'm not sure.
I think I have an idea what they're trying to say, but I will come around to that. I won't collapse this other point first.
Sure, go right ahead. Mm-hmm.
The thing about it is, OC, that I get frustrated in the process. Last year, when I brought the motion to set up the Fuel Select Committee, one of the things I made clear in that motion, and again, if you go and you watch international trends, you get your news from elsewhere other than the Western media, you see what is brewing. You saw the message I sent out earlier this year about the U.S. and the petrodollar agreement, which none of the Western media companies cover, but that was a big deal. When we set up that Fuel Select Committee, the Arab world, if you're watching and listening to what was going on there, one thing was clear. They wanted the Democrats gone. I think in my contribution, I basically said they decided they weren't riding with Biden. And they were going to jack up the price of oil the summer before the U.S. election to make sure everybody knows or everybody blamed the Democrats. Last summer, I think everyone light bill spoke. And you understand the power of that. Because it's the first time I saw my cousins in the U.S. cry about their light bill too. Don't think they didn't feel it either. And at that point, I had friends I went to school with that live in Atlanta, tell me, Chris, these are people who went out and campaign like crazy for Obama and everything, and they're diehard Democrat. They said, boy, Chris, we're going to Trump this time, See what I say, man, you see them prices out there? you see, the inflation rate alone and everything else. They didn't feel it, the mortgage, because the interest rate rise wasn't hitting them. But the light bill was hitting them, and the food price was hitting them. And all of a sudden now, we went to Trump. And at that point, I knew, without a doubt, when my friends who went, Georgia, being one of them states that were considered purple to some extent. Friends that I went to school in New York, diehard Democrats all their life. Crazy say to me, boy, Chris, we rolling with Trump this time, We don't think Democrats can ride it. I sat down and I said, mission accomplished. When I was Minister of Finance, OC, we knew this issue was coming. I remember the year in which the government basically took the, where we basically freeze CUC's electrical rate at 15 cents and then we pay the difference. I was my Ministry of Finance, took that paper to cabinet to get the funds to do that. It cost us $7 million. Now, while on paper, it may have been $7 million. Guess what also happened during that summer? In the same time where customs revenues would have gone down because people would have been paying more money to CUC and elsewhere, because they had extra money in their pocket, they went right back out. And we look at the custom revenue trending for that summer, it actually went better. So even though on paper it was $7 million, government got back some of the money by people now having cash to do other things, and we call it back the import duty. So I think we made back like around $3 million extra out of the money. So the cost was like about 3 point something million. I don't have the exact number, but I have it written on somewhere. So it wasn't the net. So you always got to look at the bigger picture from that standpoint. You know what I mean? But once the people don't have the money to spend, don't be surprised when your customs revenue go down. So having seen that and knowing that that was coming, I was really open, and I can tell you there were some members of the government that wanted to do the program again, because I remember them calling me and asking me, what was the mechanics again? How did we do this again? And so forth. But I know at the same time, whatever reason, it didn't happen. But I remember saying to the person, listen, it's too late to do it now, but thank you for making me being the only Minister of Finance that actually did it. So people can understand where we're coming from in that regard. And it's the same thing now with this pending war. Now, will it materialize? I don't know. But are we going to sit down and run the risk of this war between Trump coming in and China starting to happen, and China going through these antics that they've already started doing now? And the scariest part about it, the bond that China issued, China didn't issue it from China. China actually had that bond issued from Saudi Arabia, the capital of the petrodollar. They were sending a message, in terms of the Saudis, and Saudis is who control oil. And if people understand how serious Saudi Arabia is, tourists come to Cayman and they complain about the US dollar being 80 cents. Do you know how much $1 is in Saudi Arabia? 28 cents.
Wow.
Do you know what $1 is in Kuwait? About 31 cents. $1 in Qatar, about 31 cents too. Because at the end of the day, if you understand the mechanics, the US dollar value only came from it being a petrodollar, the only dollar that you can trade oil in. And the only people who are crazy enough, the last two people are crazy enough to say that they wanted to challenge the US dollar as a dominant currency. First one was Saddam back in December 2000 or November 2000, around that time, when he said you can now buy Iraqi oil in euros. You saw what happened to him? The other crazy one who got up and said, oh, they want to create an African currency backed by gold to challenge the US. Gaddafi. You see what happened to him? You understand me?
Yep.
And you see the threat that Trump has already made in terms of these BRICS countries now trying to do something to challenge the US dollars. Trump has made it perfectly clear. If you try to go that route, this is what's going to happen. So don't believe that we're going to sit down and be insulated from all of this. So our job now as leaders, political leaders, is to insulate and protect our people from these shocks that may happen. So sitting down and doing nothing is not an option. So I would prefer to have it in place that if our people needs it, it's there, as opposed to they need it and it is not there. If you use it, fine. You don't have to use it, but let us have the option to use it.
Okay. Can we grab a caller before we go to our commercial break? Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. Connor. Good morning, Mr. Saunders.
Good morning.
I just tuned into the show. It's a very interesting topic, especially when it comes to oil and gas. One thing I'd like to point out, and obviously just to add to what Mr. Saunders is referring to in regards to China and the whole trade market. When Obama came in 2008, Obama lifted the moratorium on U.S. drilling, domestic drilling. And most people don't know that the United States of America has the largest oil reserve in the world, simply because they've been consuming everybody else while saving theirs. Now, in 2015, when the market turned upside down, was because on May the 13th, that was the month and the day in which China became the largest user of fossil fuel. Now, China being the largest producer of any product in the world, America being the largest consumer, it created a tip of the scale. So China then became vulnerable because at the time they used to possess 60% of the U.S. currency simply through trade. Now that they were buying more fuel than the U.S., and the U.S. were now using their own fuel and wasn't contributing to the global market, such as the Saudis. The Saudis is the ones that hold Apex hostage when they were trying to get the barrel of fuel to go up above $100 a barrel. Saudi Arabia didn't slow down production, which kept the prices low. And that's when we had the all-time low of oil and gas during those 10 to 15 years, which Cayman never really enjoyed, clearly, because we don't have the right regulations in place. But again, when you look at what Trump is suggesting as far as the tariffs go, he's blindly trying to balance out the money that is being spent with their product on charging tariffs to try to get it back, but it's going to backfire. I agree with Chris, and we need to be able to forecast this as opposed to react to it. But those are some of the things that a lot of people don't know when it comes to the global trade with oil, the consumption of products, the manufacturers and the factories that are producing the products, and America being the cornerstone of all of that trade distribution, including the oil. So if Trump was to really wise up and lift the moratorium on oil, domestic oil production in the U.S., that would be a game changer. Then,
well, he has said it's going to be drill, baby, drill.
Yeah, and he would be in a better negotiating position when it comes to product trade and market trade, because China still. Because remember now, China had a limit on how many children a family could have in China until they realized that
one-child policy. They had it.
Yeah, and then they increased it to 3 children. So anyway, it's a very interesting thing that, and we need to watch, because Cayman, we sit smack in the middle with the dependency on everybody else except ourselves. So we have to be very careful with that. I agree with Chris.
Thank you very much, caller. We're going to go to a commercial break. Mr. Saunders, when we return, one of our listeners wants to know whether or not you could tell us what the costs annually that Caymanians are paying to private insurance companies for health insurance, if you have those details as well. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
Life's best moments are precious. Taking the time to cherish them with those we love is the most important thing in the world. At Cynical, we've got you covered for all these moments, helping you take care of your health, supporting your family's next move, and making sure those you care about are protected on the road. Visit Cynical.ky today. Cynical, keeping Cayman covered.
Grab a cart and win. It's the 30K Jolly Grocery Giveaway at Foster's. This Christmas, they're spreading some holly jolly cheer by filling one lucky shopper's cart with $10,000 worth of groceries. Just purchase any 2 specially marked products to enter. Learn more at fosters.ky/jolly.
A $5,000 award is being offered for the return of a missing dog that goes by the name of Spiky Haggis. Spiky is white cream in color and is a Pomeranian mix. He is a small dog that has a distinctive scar above his left hip. Spiky went missing mid-November in the area of Selkirk Drive and Bimini Drive. Cayman Vets is asking that if you have seen Spiky, a white Pomeranian mixed dog, to take a picture and send it to 525-5838 or call 525-5838 with information that could lead to his return.
The 7 a.m. Sports Report, brought to you by Dr. Wayne Porter, offering a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. Call 946-9020 to book your appointment today.
For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, MP Chris Saunders. Of course, he has to go to the sitting of Parliament, which starts at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock as well. Okay. So person wanted to know what Caymans are paying annually for private insurance companies for health insurance.
Actually, before I get to that, OC, I want to thank the last caller because Mario is one of them. I can tell you at 3-4 o'clock in the morning, me and Mario be up having some of the weirdest conversations. I mean, on the same issues, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, he's well read, he's well informed, and I'll be honest, if we had listened to Mario a lot more, especially when it come on to the fuel issue, we'd have been much further ahead as a country, and I can say that based on my conversations with him and his knowledge of the industry, he actually goes above and beyond. No, today, so I just want to say, Mario, thanks for that, and well done too. The thing about it is, OC, and surprisingly, I don't have the answer to what they're paying. But here's what I did raise in Parliament last week. And this is coming from SEMA's annual report, because SEMA does an annual report for all of the industries that they regulate.
Okay.
In 2023, the total profit for the health insurance sector, in health insurance as per SEMA, was equivalent to 19.7 million CI. Of that 19.7 million, 8.4 million belongs to Cynical.
Okay.
So it means that the other insurance companies is the other 11.3 million. I raised that on the context, and then going back to 2021, it was 15 million. 2019 was 19.2 million. Again, this is for the whole industry. 2018, 12.8 million. 2017, 11.8 million. I raised that for a simple point. If I take Cynical out of that, the numbers are going to get even worse in terms from that standpoint. It means then that the insurance company's margin on health is now very, very low. And the point I wanted to raise to my colleagues is, how long do you think it's going to be before those companies pull out? We saw what happened when Generali pulled out and what happened to thousands of Caymanian families that had pre-existing conditions. They struggle to get back affordable health care to some extent from an insurance provider. So the only insurance company that I can tell anybody that will be providing health that I am comfortable with, not to say that others may not, that I think would be in the next 10, 15 years, is Cynical. I tell anybody that I don't know how long before these American companies pull out. And the question I need to ask my Caymanian people is this. I'm 52 in the next 6 weeks. 10 years from now, I'll probably be 62. Some of the people I know out there in their late 40s and 50s. 10 years from now, do you want to be in a situation where you may have an existing condition or pre-existing condition and you're certain for health insurance? that's a genuine problem. Because again, when you look back at the voter rolls as of the 1st of October, the average voter age is 53. 14,000 people will be hitting 65. Sorry, 14,000 voters will be hitting 65 in the next 12 years. We already see the challenges that we have right now on our own healthcare costs. Last year, 2,069 people costed Cayman and taxpayers $78 million. What do you think the number is going to be in the next 5 to 10 years? Bearing in mind that 20 years ago that number was 6 million and we were able to get 3 million from the segregated insurance fund. It's a problem. And we need to start treating healthcare or health insurance like another human right, that everyone is entitled to it. You know what I mean? And that is where I'm trying to get the focus on. I grew up with free healthcare. I grew up at a time where you could have gone to the hospital. If you're a Cayman, you didn't have to worry. And I'm going to tell you right now, the HSA needs to go back to being a government department. I have went through the numbers, and I can tell you, it is a kind of situation where if you look at the HSA administrative costs, it has become an administrative burden to some extent, where a large, vast, about 7% of the HSA revenues come from government. So the question is, why are we setting up a kind of bureaucracy to collect the non-government portion? When you look at it, the numbers I did at 1 year, when I look at medical costs versus non-medical costs, we're spending like $60 million to collect $30 million of non-government revenues. It didn't make any sense. So from that standpoint, we need to go back and start making it accessible back to our people. You know, I'm not worried about other stuff. I'm worried about the stuff that keep people awake at night. And I can tell you, you get that medical emergency, you see it. I look forward every year. I mean, I go regularly visit people, my constituents in hospitals and so forth. And on Christmas morning, I enjoy going out to the retirement homes, the hospitals, and everybody, just deliver them a little fruit cake, but I get a chance to see people and just remind them that, while everybody is home doing their thing, these are still our people out there that is actually working. Enjoy going out and seeing them. And also, let me tell you something. The 4 worst things that can happen to anybody is being sick, old, poor, and alone. The U.S. Surgeon General already said now that loneliness itself is another pandemic. A lot of people are alone. We live in a small community. Too much of our people are feeling lonely. Too much of our people are feeling marginalized. And what we need to do as a community is to get back to that point. And social media has made it worse. I mean, social media, I very rarely, you look at some people out there, they'll be showing all of the fun they have on Facebook. And I'll be like, oh my God. Yeah, and you feel as if though everybody's having fun except you, and a lot of them out there is miserable, just as miserable. But the point is, OC, your health is still the best thing that you have. And like I said, to everyone listening, anything can happen to people. I know people who had plans for tomorrow that died tonight. I mean, that's just a reality of life. And I'm at an age right now where my age group now is now passing. And it's still considered young. You know what I mean? So from that standpoint, we need to start treating that like a human right. And we need to start, if that's the case, it needs to be free and it needs to be available to all Caymanians. You know what I mean? We can find money for everything else. We need to find resources for this. And like I said, when you start looking at the profits in the health insurance industry, you can go and see my website, SEMA.ky, look at the annual report, all the industries are there. You see what you make on property, you see what you make on health, you see what you make on motor and everything else. You know what I mean? These numbers are unsustainable. You know what I mean? And it comes from having an aging population.
Can we go back to the motion in relation to the mortgage, the funding and the amendment, what the amendment was?
Okay, what the amendment, the motion calls basically 2 things.
Yeah.
One, the establishment of the fund, which passed unanimously. All the members agreed that this is a problem and it needs to be dealt with. Where the disagreement was on who to pay for it. Like I said, I know pressures would have come to bear. I've seen it. The person who originally seconded the motion called me back and said, boy, Chris, I can't second your motion again. I'm like, but Mark, you did the video with me. You were on board with it. Boy, Chris. But Bernie's like, God bless Bernie. I'll sign it. I'll do it. You know what I mean? But the thing about it is, so they agreed that we need to set up the fund. Now, where we need to fund it, and again, I can say this much. Initially, when I put the motion out, I did my own analysis in terms of where's the best place that you can get a steady income flow from to do it. So I couldn't just put it out there without a possible solution. Since putting it out there, I've had people reach out to me and say, Chris, before you look at that 2% annual fee on on foreigners, why not look at legalizing the lottery business, see how much you can raise in the lottery, can that go inside it? I'm like, okay, that's a possible idea. I don't know what the number would have been, but at least, so I wasn't, that devastated that that part didn't pass, because I'm like, okay, if there are other ways that we can raise the money, I'm fine. Other people have said to me, Chris, why don't you exempt the first $1 million for the foreigners? So if your house is 1.5 million, we give you the first $1 million free, but then you pay on the 500,000. I'm open to that because it's an analysis that needs to be done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like I said, but at the end of the day, we just cannot ignore it anymore. You know what I mean? And like I said, my very first motion, I remember sitting down with Ezra, going through that kind of stuff. And I mean, at that time, it would have been easier for Ezra to do it because this was my very first motion, very first parliament other than swearing in. And the person who moves the motion, the person who also gets to speak last. Yeah. And at that point, Ezra would have been a more stronger legislator than me. So it would have been best for him to move it. And also, if need be, as I would say, beat man on closing up. But the motion passed, we not to beat anybody. You know what I mean? And I can say this too, All my political life, I've actually been on the other side of Sir Alden. And I can tell you exactly what I said to him the other night. You know what I mean? When Parliament had finished. And I said, I know he's not running again and everything else. And I say, Premier, I still call him Premier sometimes, interchangeable with Speaker. And I said, I would have liked to have had an opportunity to work with you. And the thing about it is because what Sir Allen brings to the political process, he brings a resolve that many other politicians don't have. I mean, when he sets up his mind to do something, and I would have loved to have a resolve, I would have loved for him and I to be on the same page with an idea like this. And with his resolve, this would have happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Now, we also know that one government can't bind the other. We also know that the private member's motion that you're asking the government to consider. We also know that the government that we have at the moment is a lame duck government of sorts, so nothing is likely to be done now. In the event that you are re-elected, and I feel quite confident that you probably will. Yeah. That's my personal view.
I know. That's fine. I like your personal view. Where
do we go from here? How do you pursue it?
I can tell you right now, OC, and I want to backtrack a little bit, and I want people to understand because, funny enough, I reminded two of my colleagues at this point last week. When they came to me after the motion and said, boy, Chris, them emotions are quite strong. Hope you don't feel any way. I said, bro, when I came in 2017, the people of Bordentown West had a PPM candidate, and a UDP candidate, and you're a candidate from another group. I had people in my constituents saying, I know Chris was going there alone. I know Chris wasn't part of any of the three groups that was dominant at that time. But what Chris had to say needs to be said and needs to be said nationally. And as such, while he may not be there with you guys, we're sending him there anyway. Those people I refer to as my groundation, those are the people that makes me unafraid to take on these issues. Those are the people that makes me unafraid to conform. I don't need to conform. I know how I got there, and I know what it was that they sent there. They knew they wasn't sending someone there that was part of the three groupings at the time. And I thank them for that. So when I sit down and I'm sitting in the house, it matters not to me what the other members in that house think in terms of motion. I'm not going there to put something to basically just for the sake of being popular inside that house. I represent people. That is what I'm there for. You know what I mean? And I can tell you, the one thing that my office deals with the most is people looking at health insurance coverage for NAU. And I am sick and tired of people with their life savings. I know one gentleman had around, I think, retired in his 70s at $30-something thousand in his bank. That's his life savings. NAU won't touch you because according to them, his bank balance was too high. I think it needs to get below $8,000 or something. What do you think one PET scan would cost? I mean, you want somebody to go out and deplete everything, that they then become a full ward of the state before you can help them?
Yeah.
No. And this is why I want to single out health insurance. I want to carve that out. Because the government went out and make it mandatory for everybody to have it. We look at the last census, we had 7% of our people that didn't have health insurance in the last census. And the scariest part, OC, and I'm going to show you something. The total amount of premiums written in 2022, I think it was what the numbers were, was about 280 million, 290 million health insurance premium. Cineco was 141 million of those premiums, and Cineco was covering 17,000 people. In a population of 81,000 people, where quote-unquote 7% is uninsured. You know what I mean? When you start looking at the other number, it would mean that the other 61,000, other 60,000 people are the ones that cover another 140-something million. Does anybody honestly believe that it costs Cineco premiums 141 million for 17,000 people, but then it costs another 140-something million for 60,000? Does anyone honestly believe that?
Yep. We're going to take a commercial break. Before we go to the break, I'll just read this and you can address it when we return. Person says that they were disappointed when the government rejected Mr. Saunders' motion, and of course, you clarify that to the extent that there were amendments made. The person says, I thought the Premier's excuses were quite weak, as it should be relatively easy to determine a non-Caymanian's true KYC. Know your customer, I believe. I would put that as know your Caymanian rather than know your customer.
Exactly.
Right?
I'm going to borrow that. I'm going to borrow that one, KYC.
Which we all need to produce for all real estate transactions. From the time I heard Cereba complaining about this motion, I knew it would fail, as the real estate industry is very big and powerful. Folks, with that, we're going to take our last commercial break. When we return, the conversation with MP Mr. Chris Saunders will continue. Please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Did you know that you can send money transfers to financial institutions anywhere in Jamaica with JN Money?
You mean I can send money straight to my account and cut out the middleman?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. You send your own money to your own account, giving you peace of mind that the money is in your account.
JN Money Transfers to Financial Institution is another convenient service offered by JN Money. You can have this done from any JN Money location. Deposit your money straight to your account without the hassle of asking someone to do it for you. JN Money Transfers to Financial Institutions, making life easier.
Kay's Fine Jewelry, luxury with a family touch. This holiday season, make memories sparkle with Kay's Fine Jewelry. From diamond rings to their Caribbean-inspired turtle collection, find gifts as unique as our beautiful Cayman Islands. Enjoy a beverage with your holiday shopping and find out why Kay's Fine Jewelry is ranked #1 for shopping in the Caribbean. Take advantage of exclusive holiday discounts on engagement rings, men's jewelry, their iconic Flexi jewelry collection, or explore their luxurious watch selection featuring top brands like Hamilton and Rado. This holiday season, shop Kay's Fine Jewelry, where luxury meets the heart of the Caribbean. Kay's Fine Jewelry, located on Albert Panton Street, across from the House of Parliament.
Shop at Funky Tangs, the home of electronics and more. Check out Funky Tangs' 2 locations, Shedden Road and Countryside Savannah, for loads of fireworks for the Christmas and New Year celebration. Also in stock at Funky Tangs, stoves, fridges, and small appliances, mini split air conditioning units, computers and televisions, portable radios, CD players and tablets, sheet sets and comforters, all sizes, cell phones and cordless phones, musical instruments, fragrances, and more. Funky Tangs. For more information, call 949-0998. Merry Christmas and a happy and prosperous New Year from the management and staff of Funky Tangs.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For For the Record with Orrett Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning with MP Mr. Christopher Saunders. We have a WhatsApp caller and we have a voice note as well. And then we have to give Mr. Saunders a opportunity for some closing comments as well. And we only have 10 minutes left. So we're going to do all of that in 10 minutes. First, we're going to start with the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C. How are you?
Good morning, sir. I'm fine. How are you?
And Brother Chris, how are you, sir?
Morning, Brother George. I am fine. God bless you, and thanks for calling in.
Yes, same thing. Yeah, the issue there is very interesting. This insurance that Caymanians that are out of insurance. I like that from 16 down, I think it is, and then from 65 up.
Yep.
But Brother Chris, sorry, yeah, you remember, I rather say brother.
I prefer say Chris too. I don't know why he also say Mr. Saunders, because Mr. Saunders is my daddy.
Yes, I know what you mean. Sorry. Yeah, my brother. There's still a lot of people, Caymanian born, Caymanian parents, that they are in between 65 and 16 or 18, I think it is. And those people hardly work. They're not got no full-time job, and they can't pay no insurance, and they can't go to the hospital. And I hope that this coming year, that with your help, that we can get that all sorted out, that we can get health insurance for all of the Caymanian-born children across the board, that they can get their insurance. If you're able to pay, I agree, pay. But what about those that are not working, can't work, and they don't have no insurance because they don't fall in, they didn't reach 65 yet, or they're not, So I hope that you could get that sorted out, sir. And you know where my house is.
I do. Thanks, Brother George.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. George. Paul, the clip from WhatsApp.
I don't see where it's tape a little while, Chris. OC, I'm sorry, but I wish Sir Allen would take up the mantle again. He was the man for the job. Yes, Chris is talking the truth. He run things good, OC. I wish he could take up the mantle again another time.
Okay, Mr. Saunders, back over to you. You have the mic now for the next 7 minutes or so.
Well, first I want to start off by thanking Brother George for calling in. I mean, I know he has always been a very engaged individual, and I wish we had more Caymanians that would be engaged in the process like Brother George. The thing is, OC, is this, and this is the one takeaway I want people to understand from these motions, because there's one more that I'm bringing in the next sitting of Parliament, and while I understand, it is, as you said, a lame duck, but I want to send a message, especially with elections coming up, because the purpose of elections is to determine the will of the people. Yeah. And I want to help to set the direction that we need to go to. Because the next one I'm coming with is pension reform. And I wish I'd push it this one, but I think I'd have been pushing my luck too much. But if I'd known they would have given me my mortgage company that quickly, in terms of the concept of it, I would have gone through the motion. But the main thing also is this. I have seen government had massive amount of surplus. I've seen government have massive amount of deficit. I don't know what the financial position of this country will be in the next 5, 10, 15 years. I don't know. What I do know is this. Our people are still going to be here, and our people are going to need health care. And our job today is to provide our people with the tools necessary to help themselves. Like I said, I don't know if the government will be there in a financial position to help that many people. I don't know. How many people get sick? I don't know. I would love to hope that nobody gets sick. But as I've said before, hope is not a policy.
And one thing we know that the numbers keep going up.
Exactly. So our job here is to put the tools in place. I'm not telling somebody to go out and get a reverse mortgage. I'm not saying on the next motion I'm bringing, which is on pension reform, is that you must go out and use up your pension. All I'm saying is if that emergency arises, you have the ability to help yourself. That's all it comes down to. I would prefer it be there and you not need it than for it to not be there and you need it.
Yep.
It's as simple as that. You know what I mean? And that is all it is that this is there for. You know what I mean? It's not about creating any issues for anybody, because I can tell you, Steve Jobs, rich as hell when he died, valued over 60 billion. With all that money, he still couldn't save himself. You know, the most important thing a person has in their life is still their health. You know, there's this famous this clip I saw on video that was circulating, where this billionaire met this lady, and she was listening to all her problems. And he says to her, okay, I'll give you $10 million. She said, really? There must be a catch. And he said, the only catch is you won't be able to wake up tomorrow morning, but your family and everybody is going to be happy. She didn't want the money. Waking up was more important to her than the 10 million. So then the question is, why don't we feel like $10 million richer every morning when we wake up? You know, I've said to people, if you ever want to see problems, go down to the chemotherapy unit at the HSA and see people who are battling cancer. You know, come with me some Christmas morning when I'm going out to the retirement homes and so forth and looking at people, and you see people inside there, and you see the wonderful work that people are giving up of being in their own family to look after our people. But the most important thing OCD comes back to is putting the tools in place for our people, and that's really all I am trying to do, nothing else. And as I said, when I said what I said, is that one of the things in politics that politicians need more of is political will. You know what I mean? We live in a society, not just in Cayman. If I was to ask you, who spend a lot of time on the radio, what was the biggest news in Cayman 3 days ago? Many people can't even remember. 3 days ago, 3 weeks ago, 3 months ago, 3 years ago. If I say somebody, what's the biggest news 5 days ago? They don't remember. Because everybody is so caught up in terms of just treading water, just to staying alive. That these are the things that, that's bothering them. Our job is to have them know that, listen, we know you're occupied with other stuff. We know you're trying to make your own living. Our job is to at least create an environment that if you need that help, it is there. That's all it is. And the reason why I said what I said is that, OC, you want to talk about political will? I can tell you, I have seen Sir Alden's political will. I've been on the other side of it, and I can tell you one thing. When he is determined, he is determined. And I'm certain if, he and I was working together, and I sat down and I said to him, these are what's needed. Before we started these 4 motions, Sir Alden, as Speaker, made it clear. The 4 motions on the order paper were important and essential, something along that line. And he said, guys, we need to discuss these. These are not trivial motions. So he himself recognized that, and that's actually what triggered me to what you said. But people sit down like, politics is politics.
Yeah.
He understands it. You know what I mean? And I would have loved to have his resolve, Ezra resolve, Hard resolve. I would love to have those gentlemen resolve on behind ideas like this, because I can tell you, the things that we would have done to transform came on with that level of political will. And that's the reason I'm telling people straight up. While I am talking to other people in terms of a group on certain things, there are some things that if the political will is not there, if the will is not willing to be that odd person out, don't come talk to me. Don't waste my time. Understand me? I can tell you, when the headline had read 10,600 work permits deferred over the last 10 months, I remember that night in caucus, I took some licks. I was so vexed, I can still show the screenshot. I left the caucus chat group. All this was Chris left. You know what I mean? That was it. I was like, I'm gone. The only 2 members that night, when the pressure came to bear, Kenneth Bryan, Bernie Bush. I can tell anybody that. These are people I will go to war with. Kenneth and I have the most political arguments. But when it comes on to his will, his resolve, Kenneth is determined, Kenneth is focused. Now, we may disagree on things, but in terms of his will, you get him on the same page and you want him for something, you'll have a warrior there. You surprisingly, one person who's also like that, he may not say much and the public have a different view, is David White. these are people that if you're going to war with, you don't have to look around to ask if they're behind you. They're there.
Yes, yeah. Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? David, and I mean, I know people may be surprised hearing me say that, but these are the kind of people that you want to go into battle with. Because, let me tell you something. What Cayman people need to recognize and understand, there are special interest groups in this country that is determined. As why somebody said, the minute they saw Sariba come out, they knew the time of day. Well, I can tell you straight up, I could not care less about Sariba. I couldn't care less. You understand me? Because you know what? At the end of the day, they're part of the problem in this country. They're part of the problem that have priced out the point where people can't get land. And when I hear people getting up and saying about, oh, if we bring this in, it's going to lower the land prices in Cayman. And I'm like, did you hear what they just said? I'm like, you know what? I just sat down, made my note. I sat down, I made my note. You know what I mean? And, you know, and I said, I can timestamp that because the next time they see that repeated, it's going to be in a video that they're going to believe that they actually said that. Also, I want to read something here to you so people can understand and this is what I came across the night that really caught my attention. I said, but I can look at this. This is from the Cayman Resident magazine. According to Claudio Sibioto from Team Bovell, while there are only a few hundred single-family home property sales in Cayman each year, 74 had been sold by the end of June 2023 for an average value of CI 1,566,000, which was 96% of the asking price. The average length of time to sell a single-family home was 208 days versus 207 days for a condo. Again, there was an upward trend in the value of property sales, and this increase has spilled over to Little Cayman and Cayman Brac. By July 1st, 2023, there were 176 family homes for sale in Grand Cayman with an average listing price of $3,947,000. For homes that are part of a strata, there were 21 listed for sale for an average of $1,654,000, while there were 43 semi-detached homes listed for an average price of CI $1,278,000. I'm like, oh no, my brother. At that moment, I'm sitting down there thinking of how to pay for this fund. And you know, you just Googling stuff, looking up stuff, just looking for ideas. And I came across this. I'm like, wait a minute, back up. You know what I mean? And then I started looking at property tax. Every U.S. state got property tax. You know what I mean? And it ranged from Hawaii, I think, 0.29%, and the eyes at New Jersey, like 2.something%. So I'm like, you know what? 2% should be a good starting point. Nobody can complain. And I think one of the gentlemen who came on the radio, to his credit, I think it was in the Business Buzz, he was saying that 2% itself really wasn't a big issue. And the irony of it, OC, this is the real delicious irony, that so many people who complain are living in those condos paying $8,000, $9,000, $10,000, $11,000 a month in strata.
Yeah.
And they have no problem paying the strata, so the grass and everything else can look good and everything else stay sweet. But to sit down and say, let me set aside a $2,000 a month or something like that out of these multi-million-dollar homes. You understand me? Set aside something like that to make sure the Caymanian people have something down in the future, it becomes a problem.
Yeah. Man inherently is selfish.
Yep.
And do things for their own selfish needs and not necessarily think about others.
Well, see, I know it's that time now and everything else. I'm aware of it. We're going over a little bit. But like I said, the main takeaway I want for the people to understand these motions and the one to common pension reform is, again, I don't know what the future holds.
Yeah.
I don't know what emergencies people will have. I don't know what people's health condition will be. I don't know what the government finances will be. All I want to do is just have in place the tools that if they do need it,
it's there.
Yep. That's all.
Yep.
Nothing else. I'm not advocating reverse mortgages. I'm not advocating people withdraw pension. I just want you to know if it is there and you need it, you have a place to go.
Yep.
That's all.
Yep. Mr. Saunders, thank you very much. Very, very interesting discussion, very revealing as well, and I'm sure that our listening and viewing audience appreciate, your candidness in relation to your discussion as well. Wish you and your family all that is good for the holiday season, and may the new year bring for you health, happiness, And I know you're really not concerned about the prosperity part of it.
Well, I gotta tell you, until my daughter arrives this weekend from university, my firstborn is still here. He just arrived last week. Yeah, last week my firstborn arrived. Very proud of him, done extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
K-Mannion graduated from Oxford, first class honors degree in master with distinction. And I really want to thank the many people along. The list is long, but I can tell you, Premier O'Connor, I know she gets a lot of slack sometimes, but I can tell her when it come on to being passionate and caring. I mean, she's one of them. When I told her about Brandon's achievement, she's like, "Chris, I want to come to that graduation." Kenneth's like, "I want to come too." I'm like, "Guys, tickets are limited, but it shows your passion."
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And so when my daughter come, I think I'll get in the Christmas spirit.
Great.
She's the lifeblood of the house.
Excellent. Folks, don't forget to join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the record, proudly brought to you by
Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury, and JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066. And Cayman Airways. Call them on 949-2311 to book your nonstop flights to Los Angeles and Panama. And Kirk Market.